afternoon, Facebook lands. This is Mike George here, coming at you live from somewhere between Toledo and Dayton on I-75. It looks like I'm near Sydney, Ohio. Shout out to somebody is from Sydney, Ohio. I think Ben Geffrey. I think Ben and Alana are both from Sydney, Ohio, I believe, if I remember correctly. Just north of Pickwa. I lived with a whole bunch of people at Wright State in the honors dorms that were all from this stretch of I-75, and so it's been really fun to kind of explore this area of the state. There's not much going on here. It's just kind of highway lands. Beautiful day outside. So it's right now I'm heading into Dayton, Ohio. I'm kind of doing this big road trip right now. It's kind of a very spontaneous and messily planned road trip that I've been doing in order to get to Iowa on Tuesday. So I have to actually show up to Iowa on Tuesday for my parole check-in. So I have no idea what they do at these when you're on parole. So I have to kind of figure out what Iowa wants with me. That's going to incur a lot of anxiety, I think, in the next few days. But gosh, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it can't be worse than actually going to jail. So, but anyways, I wanted to I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about. I wanted to kind of have a debriefing, if you will, of the last 6 weeks of my life, ever since the momentous mental breakdown that I had at the beginning of December, the end of November. Actually, I could put a date on it. November 28th was when things kind of started to erupt badly for me. I've witnessed at this point. I've witnessed friends of mine that have gone through parallel instances of these events. I don't like to call them mental breakdowns. I mean, I guess mental breakdown's a good term to use, but it's more like a volcanic explosion of internal angst. All the bottled up insecurities and angst and just general, just general discomfort with the world has been kind of expunged from me, and it was an event, all right. It was a costly event, but I'm glad I'm through it, and I want to use this time to thank everybody, to thank all my friends, a lot of, oh my God, especially my friend Joel Columbus. If you're watching, I'm doing a little shout out to you. So he's been instrumental in helping me get through a lot of these events that I've had in my own head. And I didn't realize this. I didn't realize that the impact of what my activities were doing. I mean, my boyfriend at the time, Matthew, he broke up with me, and I lost my boyfriend, my apartment, and my best friend kind of in the same week. And so it's been just a really intense, emotional month for me. So I appreciate all you guys on Facebook Live for the company and the support and the love. Obviously, you guys are my friends. Most of you guys are my friends. You know, Facebook land is full of friends and former lovers and mysterious people in between. So amongst all the stakeholders on my Facebook list, I want to just thank you guys all for supporting me. Sometimes that support has come in the form of tough love, which is my favorite type of love, tough love. You have an Asian mother and you're practically raised by, a family of black wolves in Steubenville, and I love it. It's the tough love element is it's essential. It's fundamental, as the great RuPaul would say. It's fundamental. But I also want to, hi Nicole. So shout out to Nicole Cook, first comment. She got the first comment on the page. So I just want to kind of express how exhausting I imagine it has been for you guys on the receiving end of my mental breakdown. Joel, I imagine, has been utterly exhausted mentally. Obviously, Leah and Matt have both been utterly exhausted by my mental just gobbledygook. As well as my room. I had roommates in Columbus. I had potential roommates in Portland that I had burned bridges with as a result of this mental breakdown. So it's been a long and exhausting process, and not even just for you guys, obviously having to go through the whole ordeal, but also for me as I kind of debrief from it all, as I kind of come down from it. And like I said, it's been, I've really discovered a lot about myself in this process. Basically, I've discovered my vulnerability, a lot of my vulnerabilities, which, I mean, to be quite frank, it's mostly, a lot of it has been dependent on the weed thing. So, I mean, fortunately and unfortunately for me, the weed thing has been it's been a big part of my life, a disproportionate amount of my life, I should say. And so, the feeling of, the feeling of going clean, which, by the way, I've been clean, effectively clean since December 10th. So, it's been a really good process of kind of getting my brain back. And for those of you for those of you who know me or maybe don't know me, I mean, I rely on my brain a lot in my work. So, and I guess just in my living, I consider myself a pretty intellectual person. So the idea of getting your brain back and kind of reclaiming it from the drugs is a really uplifting and really empowering feeling. And so it's really cool to kind of, to be liberated of all that, to no longer live in fear that I'm destroying myself. So it's been a really cool process. But like I said, I realized that I've been just utterly exhausting to listen to, especially even on some of these Facebook Live posts. I know there were some really dark ones that I made about a month ago, and some of you guys might have watched them. I've since taken them down. Actually, they're not even taken down. They're just made private. So they're still, if some cute NSA guy wants to find out how deep keep it in hand or whatever reason he might want to, which is whatever. It happens to us. I've still to this day done nothing or said nothing, even during that mental breakdown, that I'm particularly ashamed of. I think they were all truths, at least in my own heart, truths in my own mind. So I think I was always the same Mike George as I was when I was in this particularly dark time in my life, not my life, but in my head. And so, yeah, I mean, it's next storm's cleared. I think I've sort of, it kind of reminds me of burning a place down and starting anew. So I don't know what will be the final outcome of Matthew, of even Leah, and even of my Portland situation. If I'm going to be living in Portland, or if I'm going to be living in Pittsburgh, or just kind of run away somewhere. Maybe I'll run away and join the circus or something. But it's been really, there's a lot of things up in the air, and it's been just exciting to kind of be able to determine my own future a little bit. And so I kind of wanted to just put that out there for the universe to hear. I mean, these things are too complicated and too just jumbled up in my own head to really be productive. So I just update about this and then kind of report it that way. I just hate typing, and I hate the idea that people use search terms to find out things what I'm saying. So that's why I put the posts. I assume that a lot of you guys don't watch them, which adds a little bit of, I guess, relief to me, because it's nice to know that the people who are watching us are the people who perhaps are the people that want to listen and want to maybe help. I don't even think that maybe help, but maybe you're curious. So, I think all of us, I'm 31 years old. I've had, 2 or 3 mental breakdowns by now, major ones, and then I've seen about 2 or 3 mental breakdowns in my friends. So I can't imagine that none of you guys have either witnessed or undergone some of your own. So I wish I could give some advice for this. I wish there was an easy answer for how to cope with one of these. Fortunately, mine was a pretty easy answer. And that's why I've gone. I think a lot of that stuff was altering the way I think on a a subconscious level. And so it's been really liberating to kind of get off of it and to, just, like it's like alcohol. Like I treat it like alcohol. I treat it with the same respect nowadays that I do for alcohol. Like I indulge maybe now and then, maybe once a week with a few friends of mine, but I don't do it chronically. I don't do it 5 or 6 times a day. And that was the problem, was I was doing it 5 or 6 times a day. And I was basically living as a functioning pothead. And I'd rather just live as a functioning human being first than to live as a fucking pothead. Like, I don't... That is a fucking pothead. I'm a functioning pothead, but fucking pothead is, works as well. Slip there. So anyways, Facebook plans. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a update on kind of how I've been doing, like, with my own mental health. I feel great. I've been really thankful and blessed to have good people around me that have helped lift me up out of this black hole. It's made me really sensitive and made me really aware of a lot of my friends out there that might be going through the same thing. I've had a couple friends of mine actually commit suicide, and it's so shitty. It's so shitty when you find out that a friend of yours has died on Facebook. It's so shitty, especially somebody that you've loved and you've grown with. And just I'm thankful that nothing in my own life spiraled into something as extreme as wanting to kill myself. But I mean, that week that I lost everything, in Portland, when I lost my boyfriend, my best friend, and my housing situation, it was just a devastating week. And one thing that I'm really thankful for is that I didn't want to fucking kill myself. I never felt the urge or the desire to do any of that stuff. And I know I've been in places where I felt like I want to do that. I mean, not to a serious degree, not to a degree where I haven't done anything, but it's just it's something that's real, and it's real fucking scary, because I always think to myself that I have a pretty good grasp of my own mental, I guess, inclinations, and I've always felt that I had a pretty sound mind. But it's scary that even somebody, with who I mean, I'm pretty fucking privileged. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I mean, I've gone through a fucking doldrum right now in my life. But at the same time, I have a car, I have a place to stay, I have friends who love me, I have family who love me, and for now I have a little bit of money, and so I consider myself somewhat privileged in that regard. But not everybody has that privilege, and not everybody is even aware of what they're aware enough to know what they might be feeling is suicidal or anything. And so it's just been like really intense watching friends of mine pass away. And I don't want to fucking, like, sorry, I don't mean to be crying and shit, but it's just this is 2018, and I know that 2018 we have to focus on the new things and the positive things and how to get out of where we're at now, or to a better place of some sort. So I don't want to dwell on these things, but at the same time I have to reflect on them, and we all have to learn from them. I mean, we have to know how to help our friends out when they're in trouble, and we have to know how to help ourselves out when we're in trouble. And a lot of this process has taught me kind of how to better love myself, and also how to better love other people, how to just simply be there for other people. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a debriefing on everything that happened. And I'm waiting for somebody to comment with a fucking pun on the word debriefing, because I will say that Columbus has been filled of many debriefings. debriefings. Debriefings in the good way, of course. Debrief, of course, I wear boxer briefs many times. I also wear regular briefs, and so those debriefings were lovely. And I want to do a shout out. I mean, I might as well do a fucking shout out. If we're doing shout outs to friends, I want to do a shout out to like fuck buddies of mine in Columbus. And I know it sounds like really like lame and really like vague and shit, but Columbus is a very splendid city with a good gay scene, and I love how sex positive and how just overall like loving the community is there, how slutty the community is there. I love that Columbus is filled with happy sluts, and I really, a certain part of me admires the people of Columbus, the queer community in Columbus, for kind of upholding that I don't know what you would call that word, that culture, I guess, the sex positive culture that exists in Columbus. And I know Columbus isn't always. I know Columbus gets admonished a lot for a lot of different reasons among the queer community. That it's not inclusive enough. That it's that's whatever. But I do want to do a shout out to Columbus. I've gone to Columbus about 3 times now, 3 consecutive weeks, and I've had a blast every single